is up, Cage Nation? It is Kevin Jackwitz here, and this is the Cage Review. And I just got done watching SmackDown for 125/18, and this is the go-home show to Royal Rumble, just like Raw was the go-home show to Royal Rumble yesterday. And it was also the Raw 25th, and that kind of overshadowed the fact that it was the go-home show. I'm going to start out right away by saying that SmackDown absolutely killed it compared to Raw. With all the build-up to Raw 25, to me that show lacked a whole lot. And then, I'm kind of in that mind frame coming into SmackDown, and I was actually pleasantly surprised most of this show. I think they did pretty much everything that they could do right. Not everything, but most things. And we're going to start out with something that actually has some stakes. A go-home show is the show just before a big pay-per-view. It's called the go-home show. And it's usually where they try to get all of the big setups for the matches to take center stage. And they really nailed it with this one. They started out with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. They come out to the ring. They're talking about how they got a 2-on-1 handicap match with AJ Styles, and there's no way he can win. And they're showing clips of AJ asking for the actual 2-on-1 handicap match and Daniel Bryan giving it to him. And then it shows a clip of AJ saying that he could beat both guys in the same night. And so that was the setup for this particular show. It was AJ Styles comes out and he's saying, "Yes, I can." And then Daniel Bryan comes out right after AJ Styles and doesn't really say much. AJ just says, "You know what? I don't really want you to talk on my behalf. You've already done enough damage," basically. And he says, "Go ahead and give them the match. If they want it, give it to them, because I can beat both of them." So Daniel Bryan just gives him a look, and they cut to commercial. And then you come back, and Daniel Bryan's in the back with Shane McMahon, and they're talking. And, it certainly seems like the lines are drawn now. Daniel Bryan is siding with Zayn and Owens because Shane McMahon was acting kind of like a tyrant, except now it's taken on a different bit of an angle here, and now there's just tension between Daniel Bryan and Shane O'Mac, and Daniel Bryan at one point asks Shane McMahon if he's starting to doubt AJ Styles, and Shane McMahon says, "It's not AJ Styles that I'm looking at doubting," and insinuating that it's actually Daniel Bryan. So then, you're getting a really good setup. And what happens is now you know that AJ Styles is going to face both Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn later on in the show. So that's a good interest builder right there, right off the start. I think it was a good opening segment. I think everybody was pretty good on the microphone, even Sami Zayn this time. He's not always the best on the mic, but he did okay today. Kevin Owens usually kills it on the microphone. And AJ, he's decent. So then you get on to the first match, which is Chad Gable versus Jey Uso. Again, a match that has stakes for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. And this is something that Raw just skipped out on completely. Except for the very last, 10 minutes of the show. So it's Chad Gable versus Jey Uso. This is a match that we're going to have at the Royal Rumble. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin versus the Usos for the tag titles. And I really like this match. Right off the bat, this was a better match than anything you saw yesterday. And I hate to keep comparing the two, but after the tragedy that was Monday Night Raw, it was refreshing to see SmackDown be like, "Okay, we got this." And they did. I really think they did. I actually kind of enjoyed today's show, so that says a lot. But anyway, back to Gable and Uso. There was a bunch of good spots here. At the end, Gable does that roll-up and backflip. I don't know what he calls it, but it's the press suplex, I guess, where he bridges into it and does the automatic pin. So he gets that, and Gable wins clean. I really like that because Chad Gable, I don't think, has gotten enough attention yet, and this guy is an amazing, amazing athlete. This guy is the real deal. And I don't think he's had enough clean wins over any decent stars, and this was a clean win over one of the tag team champions. So that was really cool that they did that. Very, very cool. And I love the Usos, don't get me wrong. The Usos, absolutely phenomenal. They have been tag champs, deservedly so, several times. And they have really changed their image when they went heel and made it work really well for them. I give those two guys, Jay and Jimmy, all the credit in the world. But I do like to see new, younger talent come in, show that they can put on a great match, show that they're halfway decent on a mic, and then get some notoriety for it. And that's happening with Gable, I think, hopefully. So that was very, very cool. After that, you have a segment with Shinsuke Nakamura. He's doing an interview and then gets interrupted by Baron Corbin saying that Shinsuke Nakamura is nothing but hype. He's going to win the Royal Rumble and blah, blah, blah. And then Nakamura is like, well, why don't we Rumble tonight? And that was the end of that. They cut away. So it looks like you're going to have a match between Nakamura and Corbin later. So you go from there to Naomi comes out versus Liv Morgan. And this was another segment that did really well at building the Rumble. All these girls are in it. And you had the Riot Squad out there with Liv Morgan. And Naomi comes out, puts on a pretty good match between the two. Liv Morgan actually did the Matrix bend that Trish Stratus used to do. I like seeing that. And they had a little section where Naomi kept throwing really high kicks and Liv would duck. And on the third or fourth time, Liv ducked and then Naomi paused and kicked her in the face. I mean, really good athleticism within the women's division right now, and I love seeing that. So you start seeing other female wrestlers come out. Natty comes out, Becky Lynch, a couple others, and Carmella was one of them. And so not long after that, Naomi gets the win. She's outside on the apron, jumps over the rope and does a kind of like a sunset flip roll up, pins Liv. And then, of course, the Riot Squad comes in, and they attack Naomi, and then Becky Lynch comes in and attacks the Riot Squad, and then from there it's kind of a free-for-all, and all the women's wrestlers are, getting thrown over the top rope, and then you wind up with Becky and Naomi, who are friends, in the middle of the ring, and then Becky, just trying to show that she can win the Royal Rumble, throws Naomi over the top rope. Naomi stays on the apron. And then Charlotte Flair comes out, who was, of course, the Divas... not the Divas champion, the Women's SmackDown champion. Sorry, it was Divas division for a long time. Cut me some slack. But Charlotte comes out. She does a great promo. She's like, love Becky that you're, showing this side of yourself because it really is every woman for herself. But whoever wins the Royal Rumble is actually the loser because then they have to face me at WrestleMania. So Charlotte did a really good job there. I thought it was a really good bit. After that, you have the Shinsuke Corbin match. Pretty good match on Shinsuke's side. I've always thought that Corbin isn't exactly the best wrestler. He can carry himself decent sometimes. I do notice that he is in the wrong spot a lot. I have that problem with Jinder Mahal too. They're a little awkward in the ring and they're not always attentive to what's going on. And it really shows in the matches. So, but Shinsuke did carry it. And it looked like at one point Shinsuke was going to win the match. They'd gone through a back and forth. Shinsuke got the upper hand. Baron Corbin was on the other side of the ring. He's down. Looks like Shinsuke is going to go for the Kinshasa. He starts running and literally out of nowhere, like the camera angle was perfect. You see Randy Orton come up and RKO Shinsuke. I mean, just literally out of nowhere. I know that gets used a lot, but it really was out of nowhere this time. RKO Shinsuke Nakamura. Baron Corbin, for some reason, wants to attack Randy Orton now. And of course, Orton RKOs Baron Corbin too. And now we know he's an entrant in the Royal Rumble. So another good use of time. a decent match that shows implications for the Royal Rumble. And every single match they have done so far leads right up into the Royal Rumble. And this is what a go-home show should be. This is what it's supposed to be. You show the storylines, you show the characters involved, and you have some kind of stakes involved. They did a phenomenal job with that. Phenomenal. So next you have the New Day come out, they do their usual promo bit and they're having fun, and they introduce Bobby Roode, who is their partner. And so you have the New Day plus Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal, and they're facing Aiden English and Rusev. Rusev gets his pop that he's been getting with Rusev Day, and he does his little Tong Po bit. If you don't know, go watch Bloodsport. And just a really, really, really cool thing to see that happening. I do like that. Rusev, regardless of what I think about his microphone or in-ring ability, he's really using this to his advantage, and I think that's very cool. So you have the match with New Day, Bobby Roode versus Aiden English, Rusev, and Jinder Mahal. Of course, nobody, cares about Jinder Mahal at this point, I don't think. He's kind of just not good. I don't like that. I've been very vocal about Jinder Mahal, especially when he was being pushed as WWE champion. That was terrible to me. But as far as the match, it was entertaining. They had some good spots. Rusev, had a couple of good spots there, especially against Kofi Kingston. And at the end of the day, it was Xavier Woods pinned Aiden English. That's who it was. So they win, and of course, the announcement is New Day is going to the Royal Rumble. And then we lead into the last bit of SmackDown this week, which was AJ Styles comes out, and he's going to be taking on either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. Turns out to be Kevin Owens. Really good match, and there was a bit there where Kevin Owens hurts his leg, and Styles rolls him up in the calf crusher, and Kevin Owens has to tap out, and AJ Styles keeps him in the calf crusher. He says he's going to hurt these guys tonight. So that is the intent. Sami Zayn, after the match, comes down and starts whooping on AJ Styles. And I should note here that there was a point where Shane McMahon came out to ringside as Kevin Owens was coming down for his match. Sami Zayn was with him, and Shane McMahon said, if either one of you interfere in the other's match, you're both going to be fired on the spot. So after the match, Sami Zayn then interferes, and then it's Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles. And the majority of this match was pretty well done, because it's really building up, okay, is somebody going to do something to screw up and not be in the match at the Royal Rumble? Or now it looks like Kevin Owens is seriously hurt in the programming. And throughout the match with Sami Zayn, every time AJ Styles would get the upper hand, he would go back to Kevin Owens and keep working on that leg. And of course, it just keeps looking like he's getting worse and worse and worse. They bring a stretcher out for Kevin Owens. AJ, at another point, flips him off the stretcher. And so it looks like he's really doing some damage to him, which of course means he's supposed to be much weaker at the Royal Rumble, which is what I mean by building stakes for a match at the Royal Rumble. Now there's something to where this 2-on-1 handicap match isn't as tough for AJ Styles, because Sami Zayn is a lot easier to manage than Kevin Owens. And so Kevin Owens is almost out of the picture, because now he can't walk. How can he have a great match if he can't walk? And that's what I'm saying. I love how they build things up here. And so at the end of the match, AJ Styles, he's spending too much time with Kevin Owens. He's trying to hurt Kevin Owens. Like I said, he throws him off the stretcher. He gets back in the ring. He's focused on Kevin Owens, and then gets smacked with a haluva kick, and then the Blue Thunder Bomb, and Sami Zayn picks up the win. So AJ Styles picks up the first win over Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn gets the second win, but at the cost of doing serious damage to Kevin Owens. So I love how they played it out. It was actually a pretty good match all the way through with Sami Zayn and AJ Styles. I mean, how could it not be? They're two really good in-ring performers. Say what you will about Sami Zayn as far as his character, which he doesn't really have a character, it's just Sami Zayn, or his mic skills, which were better tonight. I will give him that. They were better tonight. But the guy is gold in the ring. He really is. And so I'm never really disappointed. I think, honestly, that every match tonight was better than anything they did yesterday on Raw. I think that the go-home show aspect of this SmackDown was way better than anything they did on Raw. I mean, it was absolutely what it was supposed to be. Now, it wasn't, the best show when you compare it to, like, Attitude Era stuff, but it was a pretty good show for anything they've done lately. And I really appreciate the fact that they did use a go-home show for its intent. I do appreciate the fact that they had guys in there that were doing great work and got rewarded for it. I think everybody that should have won. And, with the Shinsuke Corbin match, I think that was something they had to figure out to fill in. And then Randy Orton coming out, honestly, that was just a cool moment. So there's really not much that I can complain about. I think the promos were pretty much good throughout the show. They had a lot of build-up as far as storyline. Just probably one of the better shows that I've seen from WWE lately, my opinion. Other people's opinions may vary. I know a lot of people don't like Sami Zayn because he's not very big, which I think is stupid, honestly, in this wrestling market today. CM Punk said it best when he's like, you guys have this bodybuilder fetish of what a WWE superstar is supposed to look like. And, I would like to think that we broke that mold. Yes, you want the guys that look intimidating. You want something believable. If you have this guy that's 300 pounds of muscle walk into a ring, he should be able to do some damage. But if you've ever been in a real fight, trust me, it's the smaller guy you gotta watch out for sometimes. I've been in martial arts for a long time, and it's funny because when it comes to bigger guys, they can't move. Now, when they hit you, it sure as hell hurts, and they do a lot more damage per blow, but it's just the point that you have to get away from that bodybuilder fetish. And there's still some fans that hold on to that like it's gospel, like they're, Vince McMahon Jr., you know what I mean? It's a new day. And I think that people like Sami Zayn deserve a place on this roster. I believe that they are amazingly talented. I love these in-ring performers that can get in there, do the high-flying moves. I like the aerial acrobatic type moves. And I also like the technical moves. Now, do I mind brawling? Not really, if it's done right. But it's not as cool to watch when you're in a match, and that's just my opinion. But my point is that guys like the Chad Gables, the Shinsuke Nakamura's, I was actually impressed with Liv Morgan today. I haven't seen a whole lot of her, honestly. I don't watch NXT like I used to. I used to watch it quite a bit more. Even Xavier Woods, I think, is a guy that is really underused. He does great in the New Day, and they give him a lot of wins and stuff like that, but Xavier Woods is just extremely talented. So when it comes to people like Sami Zayn and people saying he looks like an Uber driver and stuff like that, maybe he does. But I would much rather see him in the ring than a lot of the guys on the roster, that's for sure. Sure as hell like somebody like Baron Corbin. So I was really happy, really, really happy. I mean, if I had to give it an anything out of 10, maybe a 6, maybe even a 7. Which is a pretty high score for me as of late, because they don't put on a good product, not nearly as much as they used to. So yeah, I would probably give it like a 7. I was really happy with this show. So that's my thoughts. This is my review. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What did you think of the matches? What did you think of the build-up for the Royal Rumble? Do you think they did everything like they should? If you like this review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackowitz. Cage Nation, out.